boom, boom. Oh wait, is it? Here, I'll turn that up. I'll turn it up for you. This is a work of fiction, okay? None of this actually happened. do, 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 do. Whoa! Oh, you can hear a baby crying. It's Chaos Head Babies. Just kidding. Maybe. Whoa! Okay, so I did see that, I did do, like, a poll on Twitter to see if, like, you guys wanted, like, all the endings to Chaos Head, but then I thought maybe I don't need to play Chaos Head back to back. And then I could just, move on to Chaos Child, and then after Chaos Child, I'll do another ending in Chaos Head, and then we'll go back and forth on those, on these two games, until all the endings have been gotten. Yeah! And I wanna try and get a full chapter done. Hey! Whoa, a song? Don't do that. New game! Continue, I haven't even played. Oh, let's look at the extra. Let's see. What extra stuff? Oh, I probably can't, because I haven't played it. Boop, boop, boom. November 6, 2009, AD, 10:28 p.m. It came without warning. Whoa. It was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake with an epicenter directly under the city. This disaster ruined one of Tokyo's busiest downtown areas to nothing in a single night. The high-rise building that had birthed so many trends and fads collapsed, as if giving up to their role in society. Black fires spread throughout the city as individuals fell into the grip of the crowd's psychology. That's a hard word. As individuals fell into the grip of the crowd's psychology, their terror was manifested. Combined, all these things took many lives. The final death toll was 3,851. The final number of injured, 927. Wait. Yes, I did read that right. This event would later be known as the Shibuya earthquake. Even in all that destruction, people still suffered the most in their hearts. Some who had lost their families came together to share a new resolve, while others who'd been forced to watch their friends die were driven by guilt to take their own lives. Aw. Wait, I keep seeing something behind me. Oh! oh, I'll do... Then it looks like it's poking me. as a baby was miraculously reunited with its parents after 72 hours. A child in an evacuation shelter asked her dad, "Where's mommy? When's mommy coming home?" He had no answer. Some of the wounded made it to the hospital by looking at real-time updates on the web. Others saw people in the internet looking about the disaster as if it were a movie and were driven mad. A homeless man was saved from malnutrition by an organized volunteer group, but at the same time, a middle school boy punched a self-centered volunteer who'd come to Shibuya to find himself in the face. It was the first time in that boy's life he'd ever been violent. The psychological toll was incredible, and many of the survivors would later manifest symptoms similar to those associated with PTSD. The younger were hit with the hardest, and before long, the cause of those symptoms was given the name Chaos Child Syndrome. Rebuilding happened at the feverish pitch never seen before. It felt inappropriate to say hang in there, but people felt that somebody had to do something. The new slogan was Shibuya, a city reborn, and no amount of money or manpower was spared in aiding the endeavor. The whole town was in the grip of a fever. In private, a leader of the redevelopment efforts said, "This may sound unkind, but this frenzy feels like a town burying its grief by holding a festival." Building codes were religiously evaluated with an eye toward earthquake engineering, perhaps in an effort to emphasize the city's safety. Security cameras were put up all over the town. Shibuya would become a place where everybody could live, and I didn't get to finish that sentence. But at the same time, a rumor began to spread about the earthquake. Something about the earthquake doesn't make sense. There were no aftershocks, and the damage had spread in a strong way. Harajuku and Ibisu were only a kilometer away from Shibuya, suffered few casualties and even fewer collapsed buildings. This damage pattern has never been observed in any prior earthquake, so more than a few pundits claimed the Shibuya earthquake must have been artificial. Yeah, but how could someone fake an earthquake? More than anything, some of the survivors all said the same things. They had a headache. I saw a white light. I heard a sound like a ringing in my ears. Too many people experience this for anyone to laugh it off, but no cause for those phenomena was ever found. It was just more evidence to those who believed that something about the earthquake had been wrong. Then, 6 years after the strange earthquake, in 2015, something else was about to attract attention in the reborn city of Shibuya. Hey! I think the anime for KS Child came out in 2015. When did this one come out? September 7th, 2015, Sunday night.
はい。ではいつも通り3分くらい募集をかけるんで適当によろです。
The second he spoke, the comment box started to fill. Yuma Utanai watched it for a few seconds, and then saw the request, "When does Haru tell us she's dating somebody?" He smiled to himself. Just what he wanted. Most of the requests were about odd actors or cute idols. His audience was so stupid that it was easy to tell exactly what they were going to ask. The problem was whether the problem was always whether the name that came up was someone he knew. The problem was always whether the name that came up was someone he knew. That was the question of luck and how popular they were. But Haru, her full name was Haruko, something or other, she was fine. Just a few days ago, he'd forced himself to go to an event he'd rather have skipped, and seen it for himself.
Yosh.
Okie dokie. Satisfied, Otanai got up to get some snacks, like he always did. What kind of snacks? He lived in a one-bedroom condo located 8 minutes from Shibuya Station. Cost 150,000 yen per month. It had been built after the earthquake, so the furnishings and layout were modern. A little more room would have been nice, but compared to the 40,000 yen per month place he'd lived in last year, it was heaven.
来年にはもうちょっと便利なところに引っ越すか。
At 21 years old, Otanai felt satisfied for the first time in his life. In 4th grade, he'd gotten big into online gaming and stopped going to school. Eventually, he'd stopped leaving his room altogether. Then he'd gotten addicted to drugs that made him sleepy, but did nothing else. Once seeing only darkness in his future, he'd planned to commit suicide. Oh. In the chaos after the earthquake 6 months ago, he'd finally managed to leave his room, but his family had already given up on him. After he failed his entrance exams, he went to live on his own in Shibuya, and he hadn't spoken to his parents since. As far as they knew, he'd failed the exam 3 times in a row. In fact, he hadn't even gone to the tests after the first time. There wasn't anything he wanted to learn in college, or any companies he wanted to work for badly enough. He had no goal in life at all. But things were different now.
アットちゃんにもたまには本当のことが書かれてるもんだ。チーズでいいか。
Ooh, cheese. He took a block of cheap cheese he'd bought at the supermarket out of the fridge. Usually, he never ate anything this cheap. But with N- Ni Niku Ni Nikanya live streaming. It wasn't just what you said, how you looked when you said it. It also how you looked when you said it also mattered. Otanai wasn't a good-looking man, let alone a cute girl. He was just a plain old guy, and so to keep his program popular, he needed to make them think that he was poor, barely meaning to scrape by, in fact. That's why he kept the area around his PC and the parts of his apartment that you could see with his webcam completely plain. Last month, he'd finally reached his goal of 4,000 viewers? For a man with nothing going for him like Otanai, this was extremely unusual. 3 months ago, he'd guessed the winners of the popularity contest a certain idol group was holding. 3 months ago, he'd guessed the winners of a popularity contest a certain idol group was holding, as well as their total number of votes. That must have really paid off. After that, his numbers had been going up steadily. Late last month, when his streams had appeared at the top of I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Nikanya's page, he'd seen a huge increase. Right now, he'd gotten over 40,000, and it was... Wait. That's not the number that's up there. I'm just making up numbers, aren't I? Right now, he'd gotten above 4,500, and it was quite possible he'd broken 5,000 by the end of... He'd break 5,000 by the end of the month. It was around late last year when he'd started to wonder about his power. It was a certain rumor on one of Atchan's occult boards that made him really start to realize what he had. The name he'd chosen for his streams subtly reflected this. Then I learned that I can see the future. He took out a knife to cut the cheese. Whoa, you're cutting the cheese? There was a strange sound.
Huh?
He thought he'd just imagined it when... Knock, 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 knock. He heard it again. What the heck? Who could it be now? It was coming from the door. Someone was clearly knocking on his door. Who could it be now? Suspicious, he walked toward the door to answer, then checked the clock. It was 11:41 p.m. Hello, how's it going? Not exactly normal delivery hours.
なんだよ。つか、生放送中だっつうの。
Yeah. He tried to ignore it, but... The knocking continued. It was the same rhythm at the same place. As if the visitor's goal wasn't to come inside, but simply to make that sound. Otanai felt a bit creeped out. He decided to go to the intercom camera to see who it was, but then realized that would be pointless. Only the audio locking door on the first floor had a camera. The door to Otanai's room on the 5th floor had... Oh, wait. There we go. Then we'll do that. It's time to play! Clarabelle, what are you doing? Why are you not playing Evolution GT PS2? I don't know what that is. Well, I'm playing Chaos Child. It's the one that's after Chaos Head. The door to Otanai's room on the 5th floor had an intercom, but no camera. Otanai gave up.
くそ。つか、用ならインターホン押せよ。
More knocking.
酔っ払いか?
No, the knockings were too steady for that. You're supposed to play Evolution GT PS2 or Super Pickups on the Wii? Oh, like PlayStation 2? Well, I don't have a PS2 or a Wii. I think all I have is a Switch. And there was no voice yelling at him to open up. He'd seen this door a million times, but suddenly it looked somehow different. Someone he didn't know was on the other side of the wall, demanding entry in the middle of the night. Somehow, this made the door seem intimidating. Otanai thought he might look through the peephole to see who was outside. He was then disgusted to find himself too scared to even get close to the door. Then play PS2 emulator? Yeah, I guess I could check that out. Wait, the intercom didn't have a camera, but it did have a microphone. He turned toward the living room so he could use the intercom and find out what they wanted. Otanai, it's me. Sorry to come by so suddenly. He stopped when he heard that voice. It's me. I'm very sorry to bother you at this hour. Otanai tried to remember who this speaker was, but found he couldn't. But from the tone of the voice and the words, they probably weren't a weirdo. And don't miss Evolution GT on PS2 emulator. Yeah! When they said, "I'm sorry," it sounded like they really meant it. Otanai sighed softly with a relief and then realized he was still carrying the knife he had been using to cut cheese. It suddenly felt stupid to feel so nervous. He quickly laid the knife on top of the sink.
はいはい、今開けます。どちら様ですか?
It's me. Don't you remember? The voice simply repeated itself. But who are you? Otanai whispered to himself as he opened the door. Whoa. Otanai narrowed his eyebrows at the people standing there. He looked them up and down and then looked at their faces again. Their eyes met.
あんたら、どこのどなた?
Whoa. Hello, how's it going? Otanai closed his eyes and put his right hand up to his temple. He could feel the blood pounding in his veins through his fingers. He staggered and quickly put his other hand against the wall to keep from falling over. The pain was like the old days, when he'd overdosed on antidepressants, but so much more intense. He grit his teeth again. He grit his teeth again, the pain, and dug his nails into the wall that was holding him up. He waited for the pain in his fingers to help dull the pain in his mind. Mr. Otanai, are you okay? He heard a voice he'd heard many times before and felt a concerned hand on his shoulder. He somehow managed to ignore the pain and open his eyes. A worried face was peering down at him.
大丈夫。最近たまにあるんだ。
Overwork, perhaps? You've been so busy lately. You shouldn't push yourself too hard.
相変わらず心配性だな、お前は。大丈夫だよ。さあ、入ってくれ。
He opened his mouth as wide as he could and moaned, trying to ease the pain as he let his important guest inside. As he turned his back on the guest, he told himself that it had been a long time since he'd seen them, or maybe not. It couldn't have been more than 2 months since they'd last met. It only felt long because he wanted to see them so badly.
そうだ。せっかく来てもらったのにすまん。生放送中なんだよ。
While he was out there, he decided he would cut some cheese for himself and his guest. Oh, don't worry about us.
いや、お前ら相手にそういうわけにもいかないだろう。ん?
What's wrong?
いや、なんでもない。
The blade wasn't cutting into the cheese. That's strange, he told himself as he pushed down with more force. Ah, that's not cheese! He cut into its surface and made an unpleasant sound he'd never heard before. No matter how hard he pushed, it wouldn't go further. Confused, he yanked the knife back and forth like a saw, but it only cut it slightly deeper. It was as if there was something hard inside the cheese. Yeah, there's a bone in cheese. There's bones in cheese. And even though he'd only taken it out of the fridge... And even though he'd only just taken it out of the fridge, it was slightly warm.
くそ、なんだよこれ。
I'd say give up on the cheese. If it's too hard to cut, it's time to get a different snack. Hold on, it says... something. What's this? I'm gonna... Okay. I'm back! Yay! Welcome back! Irritated, he slammed the handle of the knife against the cheese. But all it did was bash it in a little. He couldn't cut through it.
ふざけんなよ。
I'll help you. His guests must have heard the sound because they rushed over. How's your Evolution GT PS2? Well, I'm not playing that today. I'm doing Chaos Child. I was kind of looking forward to Chaos Child a bit. Because I just finished Chaos Head, and then... yeah. They had another knife. When did they get that out? There's a trick to cutting this thing. They put the knife up against the cheese and began to move it with a practiced hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking to me? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know enough about GT PS2, and I'm sorry. But I'm probably gonna continue with Chaos Child today. Huh? It sounds like your work is going well. They smiled at Otanai, their voices slightly low. Otanai realized that they were trying to keep their voices from being picked up by the screaming microphone, and lowered his voice as well.
ああ。
He grinned and nodded. His guest had introduced him to a firm that handled advertising spaces for popular websites. Which had been giving him regular work. His reputation had quietly spread through the small web advertising industry, and soon he was getting more and more offers.
流行を予想することが肝なこの仕事は天職だよ。出来レースみたいなもんだ。
Then why do these streams?
一言では言いづらいな。強いて言えば自分がどこまでいけるか試したいみたいな感じなんだけど。
That's right. His power wasn't meant to be wasted on jobs that anyone could do.
誰も経験したことないから誰かに聞くってわけにいかないだろ。だから自分でやれるだけやってみたいっつうかってかっこよすぎかこれは。
No, it's wonderful, I think, and done. After he'd smacked it a few times, the cheese was a little funny looking, but the even slices were lined up neatly on the plate.
悪いな、働かせて。
It's nothing. Go on, I'll wait until your stream is finished.
ああ、冷蔵庫の中適当に見繕ってくれていいから。ああ、静かにな。
Otonai took his cheese back to his seat and saw a flood of comments reading, "He's late," and "Did he log off?" What should have only been 3 minutes had turned into more than 15. Otonai put a bite of cheese in his mouth and began to chew loudly.
申し訳ない。この安売りセールしていたチーズがありえないくらい硬くて。
He apologized to the camera, remembering to keep up the act of being poor and starving. And as he hoped, the comments started to come in. I heard you have new hobbies. This is weird. What happened? I'm very worried. Yeah, stop. Otonai's face took on a confusing expression. The comments were strange. He thought there might be something on camera, but he turned around and saw only his fake poor room.
どうしました?
He spoke into the camera, but the comments still didn't make any sense, and they were coming in faster. Maybe there was a problem with the camera. He reached his right hand out toward it. In an instant, his headache was back. It was the same pain as before. No, worse. He closed his eyes and jerked forward, banging his head against the desk. But the pain in his head was so bad he didn't even feel it. He tried to hold his head in his hands, but for some reason, his right hand wouldn't move. So instead, he pushed his other hand up against his temple. It felt squishy. The vein was incredibly swollen and it felt like rubber. And each time he felt his blood pulse through it, there was an unpleasant sensation in his fingers. He stamped his feet against the floor, hoping to find some small escape from the pain. But it didn't even get slightly better. It was then he realized he was crying. He could feel the tears coming from his eyes. The pain was moving there now. Unable to bear it, he opened his eyes. He gasped. The whole scene appeared in front of him like some kind of awful magic trick. He suddenly heard the sound of something wet dripping onto the floor. His eyes reflexively turned toward it. His right arm was gone at the elbow, and the stump was gushing blood. There was a pool of it on the floor, and the sound he heard was the new blood splattering into it.
Huh?
Otanai didn't understand what had happened to him. What was going on? He'd just gone to check on a knocking at the door. The pain screamed within him. Any sense of pain in what remained in his right arm was overcome by the pain in his head. He felt something from his arm. He felt something from his arm at all. Oh wait, he felt nothing! He felt nothing from his arm at all, though he saw the blood dripping to the floor. What the hell was going on? He blinked and forced his aching eyes to function as he looked around the room. On top of his desk, he found the rest of his arm. This... It was sitting on a plate. At first it looked like it was still in one piece, but it wasn't. It was neatly sliced into uniform pieces. Each piece was about a centimeter wide, and the slices moved neatly toward his fingers. They sat up on the plate in roughly his arm's original shape. Miraculously, he saw there was no blood on the tip of his index finger. He still didn't understand that it was really his own arm. But sheer disgust at what he saw caused him to leap out of his chair. What was this? What kind of prank was this? The contents of his stomach flooded into his mouth. He vomited. The pink fluid smashed against the desk. Ew! He saw something solid in the middle of it. It was a thumb. It was covered in bite marks, saliva, and stomach acid, but horribly he remembered it. What? When did he put that into his mouth? In his pain-filled mind, he suddenly heard a sound he'd never heard before. Each time he heard the sound, the pain in his head got worse. He turned toward the camera, hoping for an answer to what was happening. But of course, there was none to be found. The screen was filled with comments, but his eyes were too filled with tears for him to read them. As the whole world turned red, Otanai didn't even realize that his lips were turning purple. Usu? Usu? What does that mean? Usu. As he tried to fight the pain, he began to fall unconscious, and tears fell from his eyes. The tears seemed pink to him. Otanai was weeping blood. He died, still facing the camera. His guests watched the chain of events unfold, then silently headed for the door. Just before they left the room, goodbye, they said as if nothing at all was wrong and shut the door. Oh my gosh. September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Momone young guy? I'm sorry, I probably did that wrong. Had finished her concert. She was, like always, she stayed behind to help put away the instruments. She even helped clean up the audience seats, even though that was the concert hall's job. Only after all of that was done could she take a break. There wasn't much time left before her solo street concert, but she still had to help anyway. She'd always been like that. Even if it wasn't her responsibility, she couldn't help but get involved. It was like in middle school when one of her friends who wasn't good at any studying asked her for test notes. Or in high school when a girl she knew asked her how to make Valentine's chocolates for a boy she really liked. She stayed up so many nights. Her own test grades were worse than her friends, and she didn't even have anyone to give chocolates to on Valentine's Day. In the end, it was the other person's responsibility, not hers, but...
要はヘタレなんだろうな。
Momone Takayan guy was at heart scared of not doing everything she could, even if everything wasn't her responsibility. The concert today was another big success. Sure, it was a tiny room that could only fit 150 people or so, standing room only. Hold on. I'm gonna reread that. Sure, it was a tiny room that could only fit in 150 people or so. Standing room only. But tickets were 3,000 yen. High for a band with amateur vocals like Herb. And they still sold out instantly. It was bizarre how excited the crowd was. She'd heard sobs during the ballad? She'd heard sobs during the ballad. And during one of the high-tempo songs, the audience had stood up all the way to the back row.
ありえない。
Impossible! She felt a chill and hugged herself tightly. It's not that her band wasn't popular. They started out on the Nikanya Sing It category and had kept going by doing covers of popular anime songs. It helped that her face, which had earned her the nickname Scarecrow in school, could look really good when she wore makeup. And if all of them put on ridiculous costumes and acted like idiots, some people would enjoy that. Videos of their concerts and performances pulled a decent number of views online. But Young, I'm trying. Taka Young guy. Taka Young guy noticed the vast majority of people looking at the videos were people who'd come to her concerts. People who'd experienced that insane intensity were going back to the videos to try and feel it again. And Taka Young guy knew that they probably wouldn't feel even 1% of it.
ありえないよ。
The ticket prices and audience size were one thing, but the strange thing to her was her eyes. Their eyes pierced right through her, unblinking. They were like pets, totally dependent on their master. The meaning of the lyrics to take over their lives, and they never even questioned it.
やっぱり私の声はおかしいんだ。
When she first realized that this was happening, she tried to quit the band. Where did Osu come from? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Even if she couldn't, she at least wanted to stop doing the live shows where people heard her directly. But the others around her wouldn't let that happen. Your voice is amazing, they would tell her. They forced her to keep singing, even as the concerts began to terrify her. Taka Young guy. Taka Young guy tried to get out of it, but in the end, she kept giving in. She owed her fellow band members for getting a paying dull girl like her into music. Oh, playing! Okay. And for a while, part of her managed to have fun. But in the end, Takiyangai lacked the tiny bit of courage needed to break out of this cycle. She forced herself to get up and head toward the street concert, which she didn't really want to. She'd received an email. She read it slowly. She almost dropped her smartphone. She read it again and again, trying to control her shaking hands. It was nothing special, just a simple message about one of the songs she'd made. Good song! Keep it up! Takayanga tried to stop the tears, but couldn't. The band would get too many messages like this to count, especially after concerts. She knew it was rude, but to be honest, she was sick of them. But this email address wasn't for her band. It was the one for a site where she had anonymously uploaded original songs. In other words, whoever sent this message couldn't come to her concerts. They'd never heard her voice live or felt its strange power. But they had still said they liked her song. Wiping away tears that wouldn't stop, she quickly wrote a response. That makes me really happy, thank you! Even after she sent it, she kept crying for a while. She hadn't cried this much since the earthquake. And then she stood up. She took her costumes for the day's concert out of her bag, but balled them up and threw them in the trash. It was a white caped outfit worn by some angel character in some anime. Certain fans really loved it, but she didn't care about it at all. She took a wet towel off a nearby table and violently wiped away her makeup. She was never wearing another cape or putting on makeup to look like an anime character again. Never! She said aloud. She realized this was more excited than she'd ever been before. And then she started to realize what she wanted to do. What would happen if she said she was going to quit the band? It caused trouble for a lot of people, definitely. Her band was scheduled to play in Restoration Festival, but even so, she never wanted to sing at another concert. She laughed and kissed her smartphone. She couldn't wait to get home and started fiddling with her music. Over the web, she could really share her music with others. As long as they weren't hearing her voice live, it would be fine. If she just played a recording from a speaker, for example,
小型のスピーカーなら家にもあったな。
That's right. She'd leave Shibuya, and then she'd have a few more songs. She could record them and play them at a street concert. That speaker was small enough that she could fit it under her clothes to fool people. It would be rude to do the same song every time, so each time she re-recorded it at home. Who is it? There was a knock at the door. One of the staffers, maybe?
あ、もう出ますから。
She smiled and answered them. Now that she'd thrown away her clothes, her bag was lighter than she'd ever imagined it could be. That lightness made her think about the future. She was happy. Is it the same person?
はいはい。
Takayagai. Oh wait, I'm missing a letter when I say it. Takayanagai happily danced toward the door, completely ignorant of what was on the other side. No one. Oh, September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Shortly after she finished, she was walking through Shibuya. She had a limp and dragged one leg behind her as if it was injured. Her bangs were unnaturally long. Most of her face was covered by them. She wore a dark-colored dress that seemed to melt into the night, and above it a bright red cardigan. Her chest, arms, and legs were almost completely covered. Despite the fact that the night was still warm, she wore gloves, as if it were a sin to show any skin at all.
あ、ごめんなさい。
She ran into a couple coming out of a hotel and staggered slightly. But she didn't even look at the people she ran into. She looked down and disappeared into the streets of Shibuya.
誰？きめえな。
Was the camera talking? Just kidding.
ねえ、今の人の顔見た？
That's not very nice.
んだよ。
What do you mean?
気持ち悪い。何あれ？
They're being mean.
何？あの目。
Digital? Net. Oh. Wee. Hello? For example, let's say you asked a kid in middle school, do you know what Schrodinger's cat is? Moss would say yes, or I've heard of it. Well, we'll start by eliminating the... Oh wait, oh shoot, I forget how it said. I think it'll say how it said in here. Is this where? Yeah. She... Hey, wait. It looks the pronounced looks a little different than it did before. W. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. No! Doug Q? Used to refer to people who are stupid, antisocial, or delinquents. Doug Q? We'll start by eliminating the Doug Cunes who say they never heard of it. Why? Oh, wait, okay. No. Like they're taking them out of the test. Next you ask, well, what is it? Next we eliminate those who, poor fools who say, it's something about a cat in a box, right? Or, there's this cat, but you don't know if it's alive or dead, right? Or maybe they say, there's a cat in a box, and next to it there's a device that may or may not give off poison gas, and you don't know if the cat's alive or dead till you open the box. Everybody knows that. We can eliminate those show-offs as well. Anybody from these groups are a wrong-sider. I want to see what they mean. Someone on the wrong side of the digital or information divide, we term the term wrong-sider originally referred to those who for various reasons found it difficult to use information and communications technology like the internet. Lately, however, it comes to refer also to people who can't properly use the information. What'd I do? No. Oh, okay, that's how I scroll. Shoot, where'd I leave up at? Found it difficult to use information and communication technology like the internet. Lately, however, it's come to also refer to people who can't properly use the information they have, or who are simply ignorant. On internet message boards, the term is often used to refer to people whose understanding is incorrect or whose information is out of date. Miyashiro also is a term in the latter sense of the word. It's not its original meaning. Okay. The right answer would be describe. The right answer would be to describe the experiment and then say it was a thought experiment proposed by Schrödinger to criticize the quantum mechanical theory that state collapse only occurs after human observation. But barely anyone can do that. And I'd imagine that I'm the only guy who's still in high school who knows that Schrödinger got the idea after exchanging letters with Einstein. I hate wrong-siders. Okay. I'd taken a break from investigating the 2 incidences that had occurred recently in Shibuya, and was paging through some at-channel blog agitators for a change of pace. As always, articles about bad idols and corruptions with terrible work environments were getting tons of hits. It was hard to believe that the crash of 15 a huge news story that had just happened this month was already off the front pages. Did the people reading reading and commenting on these sites realize that everything they read about corporations and idols was carefully controlled? Did they know that most of the big agitator sites are corporations too? Did they realize that the comments were all manipulated to get one direction or another? Kids our age were living in a world where all the information you could ever want was right at your fingertips. To those of us, the enlightened generation, ignorance was the worst sin. The ignorant were self-righteous, especially manipulated and eager to push their paper-thin worldview into others. They were nothing but a nuisance. Calm down. The worst of the lot were so-called otaku. I couldn't stand otaku. They were wrong-siders. Take a picture. Take that picture on the cover of this magazine. It was from BloodTube. Any otaku just watched it for the cute characters. It was a loser. There was no point in watching the show if you were going to ignore its deeper themes. I couldn't stand people who held the old-fashioned idea that only otaku watched anime, but people who ignored a show's themes and just watched it for cuteness were even worse. They were ignoring the implicit social criticism hidden in...
Nani?
I stared at the magazine in amazement. Specifically, I stared at the box that listed the next episode previews. The text said that Eren was missing.
Bakaka!
Damn it! I let my guard down because I knew this episode was written by the guy who wrote the original manga.
この原作者は原作のことが分かっていない。
What? How could you remove... Is it Eren? Here, maybe it'll tell me how in here. Full name. Eren Fury Orgel, a 10-year-old female character who appears in BloodTube. The animation, the speaker, she speaks in a haunt? Like ghost? No. Heidi, like hi. Our chick manner and always looks down on others. The younger sister of Saria Orgel, the main heroine, and also a princess of Star. Her catchphrase is "Insolent fools!" She has a deadly magical stick named Compiler. Okay, I don't think there's deeper meanings in this show. I don't think there's I don't think there's deep themes in this show. How could you well, I've never seen this show. It's a show made up within the world, but how could you remove Aaron from the story halfway through? Not keeping her around meant bringing all the internal drama that had been built up so far to a halt. God damn it. So much for my change of pace. I knew I had work to do on the case, but but I'd put it away because I couldn't find any link between the two crimes. I thought for a moment, then took my magazine from its secret stash. Cool Cat Press. It was an issue of an older magazine called Cool Cat Press. People called it a dating guide for normals written by someone who'd never dated a girl in his life. But you'd be surprised. What, has it worked for you?
女性が必ず落ちる告白の言葉
Stupid. What? I knew it was stupid. Wait. That's the magic word? Nuh-uh. But when I ran an internet search for their #1 phrase, nothing came back. And then, that was the thing. The fact that it didn't even show up on the internet meant to me that it was worth something. What? If you found no results, wait, I'm gonna read that again. The fact that it didn't show up on the internet, to me, the fact that it didn't show up on the internet meant to me that it was worth something.
「誠に勝手なのですが、好きになってもいいですか？」
You know what else helps? Well, I guess if you don't know what to say to someone, it does help to like have like a little guide or something. I don't know. Maybe it's different in Japanese.
何を
Because why would it be selfish? I don't know. There's someone else in here? I turned to yell at the voice.
ん
おのえ、お前いつ
I hid my favorite magazine behind my back and tried to calm my racing heart. Even if we knew each other since we were kids, don't just come in like that.
ノックしたよ。てか、何その雑誌、面白いの？
Maybe. Oh.
なんでもない。
I couldn't let her find out. This was bad.
どうしたんだよ。なんで制服着てるんだ。帰ったんじゃないのか。
Oh, I zoned out for a second. Sarika frowned.
今日の部活で事件のこと調べてこいって言ったのタコじゃん。
Huh? Oh, that's right.
はい、これ追加の現場周りの画像データ。
Where'd you get these pictures? Sarika took a USB memory stick out of her purse.
おありがとう。ついでに僕の PC に入れちゃってくれるか。
Sarika looked a little confused.
珍しいね、自分の PC 触らせるなんて。
別にお前はいいよ。
She didn't seem to think much of it as she started to copy the data. She didn't seem to think much of it as she started to copy the data off. Okay, now's my chance! The RV was cramped, but there was a lot of space for storage. I pretended to make tea as I tried to find room on top of the shelf. Okay, there's just enough room for one magazine. And then I heard a wait. Oh wait. Sound like a small fart from behind me. Oh, did you fart? Trying to put a magazine somewhere? I glanced back and saw that Sarika was using the mouse with one hand and fiddling with her Garofroggy Garo strap with the other. This was my chance. The Garofroggy Garo strap was a soft vinyl cell phone strap I'd won in a candy contest when I was a kid. When you pushed its belly, it was supposed to go girl. It turned out to be an incredibly rare prize that could fetch 100,000 yen at auction, but since it was a kid who didn't know any better, I gave it to Sarika as a present. Sarika seemed to really like it, and ever since then she'd carried it with her. Which, well, that was fine, but it was old and faded, and when you pressed its belly, air leaked out of its side and made a weird noise. It used to go girl, I think, but now it just made a strange whooshing sound. Ever since she was a kid, she'd had a habit of fiddling with it, especially when she was nervous or focused on something. In other words, she was focused on the computer. Now was my chance to hide it. I jammed the magazine into the shelf and moved some things so she couldn't see it.
Mountain view でいいか？
いいよ、もったいないじゃん。それにすぐに帰るし。はい、終了。
Ah, excuse me. those real pictures? Oh my gosh.
結構撮ったな。
I dropped my
成
controller.
果は
Any luck?
新しい発見はなかったよ。タクは新しい共通点見つかった？
いや。
I shook my head, frustrated.
そっか。まあ気長に行こう。じゃあ明日部室で。
Just as she was about to leave, I got an idea.
あ、尾上。
I need to double check my information. She was, in theory, a girl.
あのさ、例えばなんだけど。
うん。
ああ、なんていうか、お前が告白されたとしてさ。
うん？
いや、だから例えばこう言われたらどう？誠に勝手なのですが、好きになってもいいですかって。
さっき言ってたやつ？
それはいいから。どう？
Sarika thought for a second.
年下なの？その人。
Huh? What was this? What's going on?
Eh?
Oh, okay. Positive or negative? Let's see. I don't know. I'm scared to do one. Let's do positive. Since that's true. Come to think of it, why was it so polite anyway?
年下なのかな。いや、そうじゃなくて、どう？
どうって丁寧だなって思うけど、告白されたことないからよくわかんない。
他には何か思わないか？こう素敵だなと思ったりしないか？
別に相手によるんじゃない？
Yeah. Grr. What's going on? What's going on here? Cool cat? I don't know. It would depend on the person asking the question. Yes. Of course it would. Whoa.
でも告白してくれたのがタクだったらちょっとだけ考えちゃうかもしれない。
Sarika's whisper was so soft, I could barely hear it.
今なんて言った？
なんでも。
No, I didn't hear that wrong. Was Cool Cat right after all? They're just silent for the rest of it. No, wait. Is Sarika we're talking about here? Is that possible? Usually, when you've known someone since you were little, you're so close you don't even realize when they're attracted to you.
お前、僕のこと。
タクはどうなの？
どうって。え？
だから、例えばだけど、受け止めてくれるのかって話。
Hypothetically. She was trying to hide the fact that she was blushing, but she was staring straight at me as she waited for an answer. She serious? From the look of things, she was definitely serious. Really? Sarika liked me? I suddenly started to see her not as a childhood friend, but as a member of the opposite sex. And then it was quiet for a long time. Dating her might not be so bad. We both knew everything about each other, but what was I supposed to do in a time like this? Was there anything about this at Cool Cat Press? I gotta get the magazine. I gotta see what I do next. What do I do now? That's right. There was a hint in January 24th, a 1999 edition from a column called Everything You Wanted to Know About Seducing Your Childhood Friend. What? But we're afraid to ask? What? No, that can't be a real article. Maybe it is. It was, how would you like your childhood friend to say they loved you? Number 3, softly, and a love letter. -5 people. Or 5 people said that. I don't know. 2, in an embarrassing text message. Oh yeah, it's not negative. Okay, 17 people. Number 1, work up the courage and kiss me now. 120 people. Work up the courage and kiss me now.
おのえ。いや、セリカ。
I got close to Surika and softly put my hands on her shoulders. Wait, don't. I don't know. Our faces were right next to one another. Surika was beet red. But she couldn't look away from me.
僕は優しい男だから大切にしてやるから。
こんな急になんてダメだよ。だって
Surika's lips were quivering.
お前の唇が欲しい。
Surika closed her eyes. Oh, Surika! Oh no! Why did I not notice your beauty sooner when you were next to me all this time? I knew this was extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? No, I've already fallen in love with you.
キスして私の唇を
She whispered in a quivering voice, and I couldn't control myself any longer.
500円ちょうだい
Yeah! Is that one thing where, like, they have their phone and it has, like, the tips? Huh? She wanted 500 yen for a kiss? Just 500 yen? Huh? No, wait. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself. This was just a simulation. This isn't what would happen in real life. It couldn't. Sarika wasn't that type of girl. I took a deep breath to calm my heart.
500円って何の話？
これこれ、忘れてた。
She showed me the paper bag she was holding.
さっきそこでゲンさんに会ったの。タクにいつものだって言って渡してくれって。特価で500円でいいって立て替えたの。
いつもの？
Was the usual, huh? Confused, I took the bag from her. Gen's usual changed every time I talked to him, so I couldn't count on it. What was it today? What is it? The drunk old bastard!
何？いつものって。
Yeah, let's see.
なんでもない。ほら、500円。
I forced 500 yen into her hands. Ignoring her persistent questions, I led her to the door.
明日、学校で。データはありがとう。助かった。
わかったよ。
Reluctantly, she left my room. Phew! Damn it! Sure, this was what I always bought from Gen, but the information in the last one was no good. What the heck was a cool cat anyway? Me! That's me! I'm a cool cat. A cold cat? Is it cold because it's dead? Hey! Hmm. 100 ways to secretly show your sexy side.
じゃない。
I needed to hide this too. But I had so many of them now, I was running out of room on the top shelf. When I tried to force it in, a mountain of old papers came falling out. Damn it! No room, huh? What's this? It was an old scrapbook about the murders that had occurred 6 years ago in Shibuya. I'd bought it from Gen too, come to think of it. I'd already scanned it, but had forgotten to throw out the original. How could I, of all people, be so lax with information? I just have to bundle it up with the rest of my collection. My eyes lingered for a second on the page. Come to think of it. I quickly ran over to my PC. Boop, 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 boop. I opened the files on the case that I'd been looking for.
マジか。
My words were a whisper. I looked back at the scrapbook, then compared it to the data on the PC. There was no doubt. I kept looking at it and I kept saying the same thing. But this If my hypothesis was right,
きっと警察も気がついてないさ。
strange sumo stickers increasing in Shibuya. Let's look at the stuff he's got. iTunes, Internet Explorer. Yeah. It's so little. My name? Finance milk girl? No, I'm not gonna read all that. Oh, am I supposed to? Lately, stickers with the face of a sumo wrestler on them have been appearing around Shibuya. You started seeing them. Here, wait, it's so little. Lately, stickers with the face of sumo wrestler on them have been appearing around Shibuya. There aren't a lot of other stickers put up by graffiti artists, but Shibuya in particular was a huge number of these sumo stickers. Some have speculated that they are a message from a terrorist group or perhaps a cult. But as for now, that's nothing more than a hypothesis. When asked about the stickers, a 41-year-old man who worked at a Shibuya hair salon. They're creepy. I wish whoever it was would stop destroying the Shibuya landscape. Sometimes residents will take them down, only to see them reappear later. Shibuya City Hall says, quote, "We are continuing our community outreach efforts to help stop these stickers from being put up. But also, there are no plans to use city funds to remove stickers. Police have said that placing these stickers on public property is a misdemeanor, but that it's extremely difficult to produce without catching someone in the act, so they have no current plans of dealing with the stickers either. The citizens of Shibuya are going to be stuck with these stickers for a while, it seems." After I first saw 2 years ago, I've just been seeing them everywhere. It seems like there are even more lately. I saw another today. Whoa, they have a bunch of pictures of them. These too. There was one under the escalator at... Yeah, okay. There's so many. I actually saw one of those stickers talking once. It was yelling, Dosuko?
この時はまだ力士シールはごく一部で話題になっているくらいのものでしかなかった。一体誰が予想できる？こんな気味の悪いシールが後に世界を揺るがす大事件のきっかけになるだなんてことを。
Ooh. Oh, I was gonna go on the stairs.
んで、 これが今月の7日に起きた事件の週刊誌の特集の画像。
Here. I'm gonna go stand out there. Ooh. Where am I? Here I am. Look, I Here am I. Yeah, okay. Oh no! Are you reading?
7日ってニコニア生放送中の公開自殺か。読んだよ、その記事。
自殺と決まったわけじゃないけどな。それにネットではこっちみんなって言い方が主流になってきてる。で、これがその生放送の映像。
それも見た。つうか一緒に見ただろう。
Oh wait, I'm not standing in the hallway anymore. Oh! Look, it's pointing at me. Being little. Do, do, do. Here, I'll get back to regular size. Or maybe regular size. I don't know.
で、これがその現場の建物。尾上が昨日さらに追加してきた。
それも知ってるって。
で、これがその部屋の中。
は？うっそ！お前撮ったの？いつ？てかどうやって？
Took what? Until then, Ito had been disinterestedly pointing his camera at the colorful decorations in the hallway, but this got his attention. What is it? Of course it did! No one else had seen these pictures yet.
先週末な。現場向かいのカラオケボックスの5階の部屋から見えるんだよ。
マジで？
この5階から。
The fifth floor. You could always count on him to be interested when it came to new information.
で、何？お前一人で入ったのか？いやいや、カラオケボックスに人から？
仕方ないだろ。別に恥ずかしいことじゃない。それに歌ったわけじゃないから正確には人からとは言わない。
Yeah, I didn't go sing karaoke, okay? Get off my case! To be honest, I was a little embarrassed. The guy at the counter was probably just a part-timer, had stared at me suspiciously. Maybe I'd attracted his attention by coming in during the middle of the day in my uniform? And since I'd never been there before, he made me fill out a membership paperwork. I didn't know how to do it, so it took a long time. And actually, I'd actually never been to a karaoke place before in my life.
よし、ここは OK。次行こうぜ。
めんどくさいな。
Well, let's go on stage. Whoa! Sun. Here, wait. I'm gonna look at it in the over here. Woo. Songwon, thank you for subscribing. Yay! Hello, how's it going? Oh, it disappeared. When did that happen? Here, I'll put it up here. There you go. We wouldn't. Oh wait, I was gonna go stand on the stage up there. What? Oops. I'm too big for this stage. Whee. Ooh, basketball. Oh wait, I didn't make the basket, it went behind. Whee. Oh wait, I'm still really big on stage. Pretend I'm behind the thing. Hello everyone! Oh wait, no, I'm still too big, but then I'll be too little. We went over to the gym. From the second floor hallway, it was filled with students laughing over who knows what. The whole school was getting ready for the culture festival next week. This year's festival was supposed to be a big one. Wait. Hekiho Academy was the first private high school built as part of the restoration efforts, and so it was attracting a lot of attention. One reason why everyone was so excited for the school fair was the school's lax rules with lots of clubs and activities. But the biggest reason was the Shibuya Peace Restoration Festival 2 months from now. 2 months from now, on November 9th, would mark 6 years since the Shibuya earthquake. The 5-year anniversary fair last year had affected the whole town. And since the school was in Shibuya too, it would include us. We were just a simple high school, but now our cultural festival was being treated as a prelude to the big one, and supposedly there would be TV cameras filming the day of the event. Whoa. Oh no!
あのパチモンの着ぐるみ大丈夫かよ。つかなんで今来てんだ？
Unhand me! Whee! Whoop! Ito turned his camera toward the group of people pretending to be pro wrestlers. Ito and I were in the newspaper club, and it was our job to record the festivities. The principal had ordered that all clubs were to participate in the cultural festival, and recording the festivities was our way of getting by without having to do much work. Recording video and taking photos was my hobby, and more than anything, it seemed like the way that would demand I burn the fewest calories. I couldn't see myself participating in any of the usual festival nonsense like baseball teams, fired a ball ice cream stand, which was probably just regular fried ice cream in a ball. Or the Pro Wrestling Research Club's mascot to pro wrestling? What? Or even the Senuts? The Senuts? That the Mystery Club and Fortune Telling Club were putting together.
暇なんだろ。
What?
ヒゲを引っ張んなってもげる。
はあ、これ触覚じゃないの？
どう思うよ。触覚だとしたらもいだ方がゆるキャラっぽくないか？
え、何？私、そのくだらない質問に答えなきゃダメ？
くそ、リア充め。ただれろ。死んでしまえ。
Whoa, calm down.
おい、リア充をバカにするなよ。僕だってリア充だ。
What do you mean? What do they mean by normals? Huh?
あ、バカ、カメラ。
He dropped it. That thing's expensive.
おい、どういうことだ。カメラ。裏切ったのか。レベル下がったか。いつ彼女なんて作りやがった。
What?
あ、できてないよ。彼女なんて。それよりカメラ。
The longer
何？
the longer the camera's on the ground, the more broken it's gonna get. It looks like it's just sitting there, but it's gonna get more broken. I slipped out of Ito's grip and picked up the camera. Looks like it's safe. Good. I relaxed and handed the camera back to Ito.
たく、しっかりしろよ。僕らはあいつらと違って状況だろ。一石舞踏か。いいか。リア充ってのは2005年あたりから使われ出した言葉で、リアル、つまり現実が充実している連中の総称だ。最初は対義語としてネト銃が挙げられることが多かったけど、その境目はもうほとんどない。リアルの中にネットが組み込まれてるのが当たり前になったからな。当初は友達がいるだけでリア充と呼ばれていたけど、次第に恋人がいることがリア充の条件になっていった。だがこれも変わりつつある。
Why do you gotta put labels on yourself? I don't know.
昨今のリア充は本当の意味で現実が充実しているかどうか、つまりやりたいことができているかどうかで判断されるんだ。そういう意味で僕はリア充だ。だから暇に任せてふざけているあいつらはリア充なんかじゃないんだよ。言葉は正しく使え。
Seriously, he needs to be careful. Just being a wrong-sider by itself is a sin these days. After I finished my lecture, I saw that Ito was staring at me wordlessly. What did he not understand? I'd walked him through the entire etymology?
いやしろ。
なんだよ。
お前はリア充じゃないよ。言葉は正しく使おうな。
Huh?
なぜだ。
リア充はそんなこと言わない。
は？だからなんでだ。それに補強するなら女子の知り合いもいるんだぞ。もちろん男も。
I've got acquaintances who are women. Of course, men too. Oh my gosh.
だからリア充はそんなこと言わないんだよ。
Hey, he's just using words the way he knows them, you know?
理由はなんだ。理由はさらに付け加えるならな。
I quickly swallowed my words.
ファッションの勉強だってしているんだ。
You're studying fashion? I'd read that new issue of Cool Cat before. I put it away there. Before I put it away, there was an article in it called Utsunomiya's Fashion Leader. I thought it looked pretty good. If I could wear that stuff, I'm sure.
ん？なんだよ。
なんでもない。とにかく僕はな。
ああ、わかったって。次行こうぜ。
As he walked away, I turned my eyes toward the group of mascot pro wrestlers. Where are they?
じゃあもう全員で同じ着ぐるみにしようぜ。
They're gonna be matching.
ああ、戦隊もの風だ。色分けしようよ。私イエロー。
その方が受け取れるか。でも予算は？
Oh, let's go on the stage again. Well, I don't know how long it's gonna be here.
あんたの小遣いがあるじゃん。
バカじゃないの？
それか、体に直接塗るか。受け取れればいいんでしょ？
Hmm.
こっちは忙しいんだ。
That conversation reminded me of this.
おかえりなさいませ、ご主人様ケロン。
可愛くなくね？もうちょっとどうにかなんね。
Look, it looks like somebody drew me on the chalkboard. Whoa.
可愛くないとか言うな。てか別にウェイトレスって女子限定じゃなくてもいいじゃん。男子もやんなよ。
ゲロカエルンってあんな語尾で喋るキャラクターだったっけ？
Ito had just finished recording the goings on in the classroom. Whoa. Now I'm gonna skip it this time.
どうでもいいよ。
This was class 3-1, Ito's and my class. Most of the class was busy with the Garofragi Cafe we were doing for the festival. Some people were ignoring the fuss and studying. Some of the otaku were reading light novels. Did they really think that if they left the paper cover from the bookstore on it, we couldn't tell it was a light novel? They were just trying their best to stay out of the way. Most people were happily making Garofragi decorations or putting on Garofragi costumes and messing around. All the clubs had to participate in the festival, but so did all the classes. No one had told me, but Evidently, several months ago, we decided to do a Garo Froggy themed cafe.
はっか。ゲロカエルの声は女じゃん。
いやそうだけどさ、そこは文化祭のノリ的なあれでいいじゃん別に。
Yeah.
違うって
な。
は
Ito tilted his head in confusion and decided to get back on the topic. I took up my Pokecom and showed it to Ito.
で、これが今月の19日の事件の仮装。
音漏れたんか。どれ。お、これはまだ見てないな。どこで拾った？
I found it.
事件のまとめウィキに一瞬な。消される前に魚拓取った。
ああ、こっちの方がアングルいいな。なあ、さっきのカラオケのやつと合わせてニヤ道にアップさせてくれよ。
もう新聞部のオンラインストレージに上げてある。見やすいように加工して使ってくれ。
なんか最近再生数がいまいち伸びないんだよな。この前俺一人で作った動画のタグにもカメラ仕事しろとかアングル大体合ってないとか書かれるし。
Ito looked really upset. Well, I knew how he felt. The Heiko... Wait. The Heiko... I don't know if I'm reading it right. The Heiko Academy Newspaper Club had been the first in the nation to upload a video version of the school paper to Nikanya? Wait. I gotta look at it again. They said it, but I didn't hear how it was said. Our papers dealt with everything involving Shibuya. We'd done a special on Shibuya restoration once that a local paper had written about it. We won a special prize at a city journalism contest, and the video got over 80,000 views despite being boring as hell. After that, though, I could understand being upset at the fact that new videos dealing with goings-on in Shibuya weren't breaking 2 digits.
ああ、カメラ仕事しろのタグをつけたのは僕だ。あれアングルひどいぞ。
じゃーん、ゲットしてきた。おお、オリジナルじゃん。
疲れた。
A boyfriend and girlfriend walked in, evidently back from shopping. Their arms were full of Garifragi stuffed animals.
だから違うっての。
は？いえ、だから何がだよ。
Ito hadn't noticed then. I looked at my classmates who were already beginning to play with their new toys and said,
前も話したことあったろ。大半の中高生は日頃アクセスしているサイトで情報レベルが知れるって。
This was a personal theory of mine. Smartphones and poke comes? Here, wait, a thing came up. Oh, pocket computer. Okay. So it'd be... I still don't know how. Poke comes had become a religion in the modern teenager. Oh, it become a religion to the modern teenager, and the information they gained from these portable terminals had a huge influence on their lives. Some people only looked at the SNESs, like Twitter, Vine, and Facebook. Wait. How? Oh wait, I know how they can have Twitter. Just kidding. I think this game was made before all that, but Twitter, Facebook, others at Ad Channel, and Nikania. Some looked at all those as well as the links they found there. And then some looked at all the things as well as their favorite celebrity blogs, the big agitators, and then whatever humor site was popular at the moment. All of these people were wrong-siders. And the scary thing was that these days, 9 out of 10 wrong-siders were teenagers. Garo Froggy launched 6 years ago with a cell phone strap that had gotten popular for reasons no one ever understood. And then, lately, a combination of Garo Froggy memes on Twitter, as well as an amateur anime posted to Nikania? If I remember right, it was dancing frogs singing anime themes. Had created a fad, though I hated to use the word for something so stupid. It amazed me that people honestly believed that the rabbit sounds made by a female actress who in those videos were from the original, or that the original was the stuffed animal that had come out recently and not the phone strap. My guess was that they only got their information from Twitter. Oh, wait, okay. Wait. Now, have I been reading it wrong? No, I'm reading it right. Twitter.
それに男の場合はウェイトレスじゃなくてウェイターだっての。
This was one of the reasons I joined the newspaper club. I didn't want to end up like them. Anyway.
宮代くん?
A girl, evidently, the one in charge of the waitresses was talking to me. Who was she again? Fujita? Fujimoto? I think there was a Fuji.
何田中さん
Oh no. It was way wrong. It was way off. Tanaka? I was totally wrong.
さ、教室で流す映像のビデオ撮影のことなんだけどさ。
What was she talking about? Oh, right! They were going to make their own version of the Nikanya videos, where they wore costumes and danced.
そのアップとかできるのかな。こうずっと同じで撮るんじゃなくて。
Whoa. What was she telling me to do? I didn't volunteer to videotape it. You guys forced me. Well, it was better than being told to dance or make props myself.
あ、そのフィックスじゃなくていろいろ動かせっていうことですか？
フィックス？よくわかんないけど。
あ、できますよ。アップでもなんでも。
本当？よかった。じゃあ本番までにどこをどう撮ってほしいかまとめて渡すから。
And then she fled. That surprised me. Don't scare me like that. I was so nervous, I was sweating a little. Ito was looking at me and sighing. I thought it said singing. I was like, why singing? What?
お前やっぱリア充じゃないわ。
What?
相変わらず慣れない相手だと挙取るし、丁寧語だし。
しょうがないだろ。いきなりだったんだから。
Yeah. And what's more, I made it a policy not to talk to anyone unless it was necessary. This was the first time in quite a while I'd spoken to anyone of my class but Ito.
どうだった？
なんか自慢されてなかった？フィックスとかなんとか。
んだそれ。またうんちくか
？They'd already started to spread a meaningless information. Stop! Hearing whispers about me in the classroom brought back memories. I was starting to have a hard time breathing.
おい、大丈夫か？
No! I must have moved like I was in pain because Ito was looking at me with concern on his face. I quickly nodded to show that I was fine.
陰口は聞こえないように言えってのな。しかも自慢でもうんちくでもなんでもないっての。
Yeah.
別に気にしてないよ。藤田さんは。
誰だよ。
Oh, no one!
田中さんは情弱なだけなんだから。
That's right. It wasn't worth worrying about. She was just ignorant. Ito looked over at our other classmates who were having fun.
たく、オポチュニストが。
Opportunist. Uh-oh. What did that mean again? I knew I heard it before. I ran to search my Pokecom, making sure not to let Ito see. Opportunist. One who takes advantage of any opportunity to achieve an end.
そうだな。言い当ててると思う。みんなと同じ方向にひよってるだけだよ。
まったくな。
Ito nodded, annoyed. Good. Looks like you didn't find out.
いつの時代もスクールカーストの底辺にいる俺らオタクは上部にいる方たちに話のネタを提供する運命なのか。
Do they think they're above other people? For being in the newspaper club? I don't... what? Hold it. The school caste system wasn't something I cared about, but...
おい、僕はオタクじゃないぞ。
Yeah, let's get one thing clear.
またかよ。
またってなんだ。理屈に合わないことが気持ち悪いだけだ。一石。い
い、ぶたなくていい。
オタクの定義は流動していて、当初あった悪いイメージは徐々に払拭されつつあるけれど、2015年現在でもアニメやらラノベやらゲームやらアイドルやらにハマっている人のことを指す場合が大半だ。
I thought I saw a boy reading a light novel turn toward me, but I didn't care.
僕はくだらないアニメやラノベは見ない。時間の無駄だ。
以前お前なんかのアニメを絶賛してなかったか？なんだっけ、ブラチュ？
Yeah. What do you guys say to that?
くだらないアニメは見ないと言ったんだ。素晴らしきかな我が人生や二人のベロニカとかの名画を検索しようとすらせずに同じようなアニメばっか見て。
Wait.
このアニメを見てないやつはにわかだとか言ったり。
わかったって。
数列都市や冬の庭とかの名著、ああいいよねとか嘘ついて済ませてラノベばっか読んでいる。そういう自分の好きな知識しか吸収しないやつを言うんだ、オタクっていうのは。
カメラオタクってなんか怪しいイメージあるよな。
別に人様に迷惑かけなければいいんじゃん。好きなんでしょ。うちだってジョニオタだし。
Yeah. Stop it, please! More than anything, I don't want to be the same as you people. And then, the door to the classroom flew open. It knocked everyone out and they fell over or something. A female student who was looking in. She must have been in a hurry because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair out of her eyes and was about to come inside.
ノノ、どうしたの？
おお、女帝、ちょうどよかった。
The whole class started to talk to her.
ちょっと。
She was about to say something when her foot caught on one of the cables running across the room. And she suddenly tripped. She almost tripped, but managed to keep her balance. She smiled a bit and took a deep breath. All the students around her, boys and girls alike, began to move. They surrounded her as if they were welcoming a long-lost family member.
ちょっと誰？こんなところにケーブル置きっぱなしにしたの。危ないな。
Yeah, you're supposed to tape it to the ground so that it won't move.
ノノ、ごめんね。
女帝、大丈夫か？
ええ、 気にしないで。
She answered with a smile. I felt like our eyes met. I looked away without thinking. No, Kurusu. The first student council president of Hekio. No, that's not how I said it last time. Hekio? Hekio Academy.
あのさ、うちの喫茶でキッチン側とそれ以外のこっち側のなんてのお客さんスペースってか。
Kurusu smiled, a little as she spoke.
ホール側？
そうそう、ホールだ。そのさ、間を仕切る暗幕の数の調整ってワックンしてくれた？
調整？涌井先生が増田君にそう言ったの？
え、聞いてない？
ということは絶対やってないでしょうね。わかった。私から言っておく。
大丈夫？なんか女帝、先生たちから目つけられてんじゃん。てか、怖がられてんじゃん。
生徒会長なんて生徒側から学校側に無理難題を押し付けるためにいるものでしょ。大丈夫。なけなしの権力を振りかざすから。あと増田君、女帝はやめて。
ほう、サンキュー女帝。
あなたね。
Most of the boys in class were called most of the boys in class that called Kurisu Empress as a joke. She'd gotten the name after becoming a hero to her fellow students through gallant deeds like putting an end to the principal's endless homeroom speeches. Not to mention bringing more types of bread to the school store.
ノーノー、着ぐるみありがとね。ぴったりだった。
田中、それ私が試着した時、最後までファスナー上がらなかったんだけど。あと、地雷？呼び込み禁止にするからね。
あー、ごめん、嘘。ピチピチだから。これは割とマジで。いや、てか、どうせ胸で引っかかったんでしょ？
冗談。期待してるから笑い取ってよ。
Yeah, get lots of laughs or else I'll take you out of the paper. She was super popular. She even knew the names of students in other classes. The top of the school caste system. That was the first phrase that came to mind. And then...
タクル、話があるの。ちょっと来てくれる？
Kurisu walked all the way over to me and Ito. Her expression was so kind, it seemed like she had to be putting on some kind of act. I could see that all the people who'd been surrounding her were staring at me.
女帝、カメラっ子に何の用だ？友達なのか？
知らないの？ナノは。
はあ、マジで？
No way! I ignored my classmates' whispers and focused on Kurisu. Her smile seemed fake, as if it had been plastered onto her face. Whenever she smiled like that, it meant she wasn't in a good mood.
今はごめん。事件に関して気づいたことがあって、それをまとめてる最中なんだ。
うん。
生徒会文化祭の準備が佳境だろ。だからクルスが落ち着いたらで。
Her cheeks twitched a little. Crap! Kurusu didn't like it when I called her by her last name.
ちょっと来てくれる？部室。
Maybe. I could sense a dark aura forming around her, hardly benefiting a so-called empress.
来てくれる？
Yeah. She was so close to me.
行こうか部室。なあ宮代。
Ito couldn't handle the terror. It didn't look like I could talk my way out of this one. Seeing no other choice, I nodded and stood up.
クルス。
Yeah?
クルス、ちょっと。
グラウンドに出す屋台のコンロの数でしょ。やっぱり一つの屋台につき一つで統一する。
いや、それは。おう。
悪いけど例外はなし。校長に掛け合ったけどダメだったから。人数が多くて不満があるところは私が後で直接説明に行く。
了解。いやじゃなくて、なんで持ち場離れて。
クルスだから忙しかったら落ち着いたらでいいって。
もう終わったから。ごめんね川原くん、急ぎなの。
Her tone was gentle, but broke no argument. She went to hurry to the club room. What? Let's see.
宮代、またお前か。今度は何したんだ。
No, I'm too scared to do one of to do one of these. I'm gonna skip it again. Kawahara cut her off. I didn't know his first name. He was in the same class as Ito and I, and he was the vice president of the student council.
いやいい。言わなくても分かってる。また例のくだらない記者ごっこだろ。それとも探偵気取りか。
I knew why he was giving me a hard time. He didn't like the fact that Kurusu was spending time with me.
別に
何？
川原くんに迷惑はかけてないと思いますけど。
かかってるんだよ。クルスの時間が割かれると同じ生徒会の俺たち全員にな。
I'm not wasting my time with this. There's no point. I'd try to ignore him and just walk on by.
お前、小中と不登校だったんだって。
Excuse me? Are you digging up my past? I could feel my legs tense up. I stopped. My face got hot, and without thinking, I glared accusingly at Kurusu. She quickly shook her head no.
川原くん、急いでいるから。
But he kept on staring at me. I felt like he was grinning a little. It pissed me off. But there was nothing I could say. I did the best I could to ignore him and turn away. I ignored what sounded like a little laugh and hurried to the club room. Okay, I was gonna try and do a full chapter, but I don't think I can. What? So I think we'll go ahead and pick this up next time. Let's see. Okay. Well, thank you for coming and watching.